had someone ask me why I care so much about human trafficking. In fact, I had them speculate as to why I care so much about human trafficking. To set the record straight, I just wanted to give a little bit of history, of my history with that. I knew about human trafficking in high school, I believe it was, when I first saw in a photography textbook two young girls, about 13, in a brothel in India. They were in uniforms, and I remember thinking, when I looked at the date on the picture, well, how young they looked, but that they were probably dead by that time, and not of old age, by the time that I saw the picture, because apparently in India, there's this belief that many men have about sex with a virgin curing AIDS. And so a lot of virgins get AIDS from this. And I thought that was terrible when I heard about that. But that was something that poor, uneducated, ignorant Indians did in a country far, far away. And what was I going to do about that? So I didn't think too much about it. Well, fast forward about 12 years maybe, and I am out of college and working, and I'm off though on Friday. It was a Friday in January in 2001. I'm doing laundry, and I am flipping through channels on the TV trying to find something to keep me company, just some noise, and I see Madeleine Albright, who's the Secretary of State at the time, and I think, oh, this will be interesting. And she's on a talk show, and she is, well, they're talking about human trafficking, and there's a girl from India there. She looks about 15, and she has AIDS. She's HIV positive, but she's been rescued from one of the brothels, and she's very grateful, very happy for that. And all that's good. All that's well and good. But then they start talking about this raid the police did on a brothel in Florida, USA. And the policeman that they interviewed was shaken, visibly shaken, just wide-eyed and shocked. He said, you wouldn't want a dog to be kept in these conditions where they found these women, and they showed them. And unless you think this is some kind of race thing, because some do, because they say this has been going on for 30 years apparently, but nobody cared until blonde, blue-eyed women from the former Soviet Union started getting caught up in it. And then something had to be done. But regardless of that, most of these women were Mexican, women and girls. The youngest was 14, that they rescued in the raid. And I saw red. I was furious. I was enraged. I went and did research, and I found out that it was all over the U.S., in my own backyard in Maryland, and I cried and ranted for a solid year about this. And when they heard about that, someone said, oh, well, she must feel some kind of kinship or identify with them in some way. I mean, she was kidnapped by her father when she was young. Who knows what happened? Well, I can tell you that I have no memory of anything that would confirm that kind of accusation against my father. And second of all, I mean, the closest thing that would let me identify with something like this would be my husband leaving. Someone that I loved and trusted for decades, just turning and leaving. But for that to even come close, he would have had to beat me half senseless, turn me over to a group of his friends, and stand there and watch while they raped me, laughing and joking about how stupid I was, and then sell me to up to 20 men a day until I died or committed suicide. Because that is what happens to a lot of these girls. And they're 12, 13, 14. I don't know how they cope, because I'm going to tell you, nothing like that has ever happened to me in my entire life. What these girls and these women go through. And what made me so angry was to know that this had been going on. The whole time I was in high school, it had been building more and more while I was in college, and all I had thought about during that time was my grades, my weight, and my hair. And to think, that we were as ignorant and uneducated as Americans, that in the year 2001, at the time, there would be slavery in the land of the free and the home of the brave, was inconceivable to me. And I was humiliated that I had not known, and angry at myself and every American, those who were complicit, because a lot have to be complicit for this to flourish the way it has. And those of us, I know I was hard on myself and on so many of us, because I cared. When I found out, I cared. And a lot of people would care if they knew, and do care when they find out, but that we should be so ignorant of it. I was humiliated and furious. So I just wish I could find something better to do to help them. Any suggestions would be welcome.